Aye. The usefulness of the videos from class.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
Okay. Foundations of African Thought. That is AFST 638. Yeah, it's one course that we studied this semester, which has enlightened us so well and deepened our understanding in the African worldview. Yeah, and in most of the classes, right away from the start of the class, most of the classes were recorded, and right after class, a day or two, you are able to access the videos, and the playback alone gives you another insight into whatever happens in class. Yeah, for instance, I quite remember with the one we had on the it has to do with concept. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
It has to do with the rite of passage, which comes in with the at birth, and then initiation, and then marriage, and then eldership, and then you move into the ancestral world. Yeah, I remember that particular class. I went back, took that video, and listened to it very well. Because when we were in class, we were only discussing. We were only trying to get other thoughts. But I went back, listened to the video, and then took other literature concerning that, especially that of Fiacal's work.
Fouquier.
Fouquier's work. Yeah, which he related that to the Dikenga dia Congo cosmology, which talks about the Mosaini, the Luvemba, and then it talks about color, and then also it's maps up, or it's about 4 stages, which starts from the birth. And birth is Mosaini, which is the beginning of all things. So going back, listening to that video alone made me it gave me, or it made that very concept of initiation and the concept of birth, it sat down well, and it even gave me a wider view of taking an understanding from, I'm a Gan, so I took it from the Gan perspective, to the extent that, as Gans, anytime at all one comes into the world, we rejoice. Why? Because we've had a new person. Yeah, it's the cosmology is the same thing in the Gan system. When one comes into the world, he goes through that same stage of initiation, and then goes through that same process of marriage, and then to eldership. Anytime one gets to the point of eldership, we call that person an elder because he's nearer to the ancestors. We seek wisdom from that person. If you have an elder person in a huge family house, then you really have someone who has insight and understanding to the things of the Gan system. So when it comes to marriage in the family, when it comes to outdooring of babies in the family, when it comes to death of a person in the family, these are the people that are sought. Their views and ideas are sought because they know the nitty-gritty of the family tradition. And then they are closer to the ancestors. In the African worldview, the unborn, the living, and then the ancestors are part. They make up the worldview. So the elders are closer to the ancestors. They know what goes on there. And so when it comes to death, when it comes to communicating with the spirit, they have deeper seated understanding to that things, to those things. Sorry. So they are consulted on that, and then they are able to give deeper insights to what and then clarify whatever issue that is baffling one, that is baffling one in any form or in any shape.
Now we according to our call Kofodia, a whole senior so we share, and I said good to me the chair one arm for so woman so much.
Yeah. Sinino afe na me
brofo.
Yeah, sinino we Kofodia sinino afe na me be chere na for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
brofo.
Oh, okay. With the trip we had to Koforidua, or we embarked, to Koforidua on the Akwesida, where we met we went to Nana Tebiri's shrine, then we engaged her in the Akwesida festival. It was very enlightening. It gave us the understanding that the African has her own way and style of worshiping God. Not what the Eurasians or not what the English came in and introduced to us, but as Africans we have our system, we have our way of worship. Where one would have to consult the we call them, they are intermediate. They act as medium through humanity and then the ancestors, or let me say through the physical world and then the spiritual world. So I don't know, Eurasians came and then they termed them as lesser gods, they termed them as smaller gods, but these are not smaller gods. They are deities. They are deities. These are people we revere. These are deities we revere. We give accord to, because they connect us to the spiritual world. They are the only ones who knows and understand what goes on in the spiritual world.
Okay. So you were saying they are, but you were able to see the video for the Koforidua?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So continue from where you left off.
Okay. Yeah. At the shrine, most of us engaged in what went on there. I remember I took part in the dancing. Yeah, I took, and it's a place of worship. It's a place where you meet God. They brought to us, they say God, Supreme God. But as Africans, this is our way of worship. If you are watching this video, I will recommend you take a time to visit Nana Tebiri's shrine, and you will understand what it means to be an African, what it means to serve God. Because with this as Africans, we have our own way, our own style. We did not to heed to this Eurasian view, and then we have to accord to our style and principles.
Okay. Okay, now for the Foundation of African Thought class, if you had to sum up the whole experience in one word, what would that word be?
It was an exciting class.
Good. All right. Anything else about?
Yeah, anything? I would recommend this class to anybody at all. If you're an African, you need to understand what it means to be an African. You need to know your roots. You need to know your identity. You need to know who you are. And when you enter into this class, it will give you that exposure. It will give you that understanding of who an African is. So whether you are in primary school, whether you are in secondary school, whether you are in a tertiary, do your best and get yourself connected to the foundations of African thought or a bibini to mikasa, and then you will gain the nitty-gritty and understand the nuances of who an African is, so that we can all live the African identity. As Africans, anytime we go to the outside world, we never show who we are. But let us be proud of who we are. Let us be proud of our identity. Let us stand for who we are as Africans. Thank you very much.